going? I'm so excited to be doing this, especially because I started the year actually recording my year, not necessarily like January 1st, but like around March. I was just like, I needed to record my year. It felt like I was going to make it through the year, but we're here. Anyways, so many things have happened to me this year that I just wanted to breathe, and one of the ways I really needed to breathe was to be able to find somebody that was exactly in my shoes. I couldn't find a lot of the information that I needed. Instead, Google would just send you to scary land, and obviously I'm old enough to know that, and I've had to deal with so many things enough to know that Google is not always the answer. So I don't know if anyone watching remembers in December I made a declaration that I wanted to start working out. I even bought some working out outfits from thrift stores. I got some as gifts that I had to influence for people, and I was sharing my daily workout routine. So I wasn't doing anything intense like that. All I liked my size, like I was a size 14, size 40, but on a smaller size. The only reason I wore a 14 was because of my boobs, and I didn't really exactly want to like go down 2 sizes or anything. I just wanted to be fit. You know, I live upstairs, and the first thing I noticed was each time I reached my flat, it was always going to be a lot of work to catch my breath. So you know, you just know that you're not fit. And coming from the background of being an athlete, I knew that I needed to, you know, strengthen some of my core, strengthen some of my muscles, drink a lot of water. So I was more intentional about my cooking, and that was when I started following some popular pages online that cooked a lot of homemade food, made a lot of juices and all of that. So I started that in January. And one of the incidents that led me to go to the hospital was my Samsung watch. Kudos to Samsung, thank you very much, that kept showing me that my heart rate was low. And I wake up, like when I wake up, I can't just wake up and my day will start. I needed to like catch my breath, and sometimes in my sleep I'll feel like I'm struggling to breathe. So I went to the hospital. I started getting these frequent headaches. I had resumed back to work. I had to move my factory, landlord issues, staffing and everything. So I just felt that this headache was from stress, and each time I tried to rest, the headache would get worse. So what I mean is that I felt like I was stressed. My breathing was doing a lot better. Again, the doctor recommended that I should do more walking than running or jumping on the sport or anything, and also said that I shouldn't do early morning workouts, that I should do evening workouts. So I spread my workout to about 3 days a week. Sometimes my husband and I will walk around and all of that. But anyway, I started getting these serious headaches. Like at that time I couldn't tell when the headaches was coming, but I knew that when it came, it was so bad, and it usually frequent when I wake up in the morning. So naturally, before now, I didn't like to be woken up. That's why a lot of times I'm awake as early as 4 or 5 a.m. I don't just want anybody to wake me up. Even when I was breastfeeding, my husband would take care of the babies in the middle of the night, because once you wake me up, it means I will not get myself throughout the day. So this headache was not going away, and I shared on my story. People talked about eye problem, that I should see an ophthalmologist. Obviously at this time I started to feel like the headache was affecting more of my eyes. I went for more baby care at my office, and I remember when the team came, they were setting up, and the light went up. Like immediately the light went up, I could not see. Like it just, my eyes, everything just, it blurred off, and all I could, you know, I don't know if a car has ever flashed lights in your face before, and you can't see, but you can actually see you can't see anything else but that light. So that was, and I had to scream, put it off, put it off, put it off. They put it off but it took a long time. I had to go pour water on my head and everything. So throughout the shoot, I was avoiding the lights and everything. I went to Lasut, and I don't pray for my enemy to have issues and go to Lasut. The crowd, I got there on my first day of appointment. So because I knew a doctor, I was referred to a certain doctor. He gave me an appointment and said I should come for 9. So a lot of people that had used Lasut, I reached out to say I have to get there as early as 6. My husband dropped me at Lasut gate at 6 a.m. and I got there and I wanted to write my name. I think it was about 70 something. I can't remember. That was the day one. Card and everything. So I got my card and I just went into the waiting area. And he called me in when it was time, although it still took time, but I did some tests and he concluded that, which I shared on my page. I don't know if anybody remember, but I'll be attaching some of the snippets of these videos or pictures to corroborate my story. So he concluded that there was an artery in my right eye that wasn't working at all, and that it wasn't supplying enough blood, and that the left one was also weak because I was using it more. He recommended some medication and glasses. I started using it almost immediately, and I noticed that the glasses, immediately I started using it, my headache got really worse. But I just felt, oh, I've been in the hospital, I also have malaria and I was also having diarrhea. Let's just see how it goes. On Saturday, we had another shoot and I was going to obviously be there. I couldn't get up from my bed. The headache was so bad. And luckily, one of the people were interviewing for this shoot. Anyway, to cut the long story short, it wasn't my eye that was paining me, because the medication he gave me, I was supposed to use it for 30 days, and by day 6, which happened to be the next, by day 7 or 8, I can't remember, which happened to be the next Saturday, my headache was so bad I could not turn right. Like if I tried to look right, it would feel as if something was tightening my brain from behind. It was that bad. And by Sunday of that week, I lost my sister-in-law. So we didn't know until Monday morning, and obviously the crying, the grieving and everything just made my headache worse. So I had to sleep at my mom's. My mom started getting worried. Obviously everybody was worried initially, but you know, we thought, oh, the glasses, once I use it for a while, will get better once I finish my medication. So that Monday I couldn't do anything. Like I was with my mom, I was screaming, I was shouting. Sekina was with me because obviously she knows my sister-in-law that I was talking about, so she also came for the burial. And I was crying, like I was using ice block, I was using hot water, I was calling all the doctors I know. I reached out to the ophthalmologist that attended to me, and he said he thinks I need to see a neurologist. So in between all these times that I mentioned, remember I said I was on admission, I had seen a general practitioner who also recommended that I saw a specialist, who requested that I did an x-ray to check my sinuses, who also requested that I did another eye test in their own hospital. Like I had done like 5 tests, blood tests, I checked thyroid, so many things, you know. My blood level was dropping. So each time I was running any tests and they had to check my PCV, it would have dropped by like 2%. So as at the time, so on this day, I called my hospital and the specialist said I needed an MRI in the next 72 hours. So you know, immediately he said this. Obviously before then I was scared. I didn't know what was going on with me. It felt like I was going blind, because this day when I slept at my mom, there was nothing was working. I used suppository diclofenac, all the medications, nothing was working. He said we should get caffeine or codeine. Like I was using drugs almost every 30 minutes to 1 hour, and nothing was working. I took coke. They said we should dissolve caffeine inside coke, like you know those things that those boys and girls used to take to get high, and you know you just don't feel anything. Nothing worked. I even started reaching out to another doctor friend who is a follower that I was chatting with, said if I could get marijuana or weed just so that I can last till the next day to go and do the MRI. But obviously I don't know anybody that does weed or marijuana, so I couldn't get. Finally, I was able to sleep at some point. My husband slept with me on the island, and by then out looking for where to do an MRI where we can get the results translated that same day, because the doctor had already given us 7 hours. He had measured the amount of time my eyes has been stressed, and how much time I had also spent being stressed, and how much drug I had used, and also he recommended I did a liver function test for everything that I had consumed, you know, a lot of things, sha. And because this was like now a Wednesday, we needed somebody that can translate it so that I can see the neurologist or the specialist back on Friday. Anyways, so people are getting sick in this Nigeria, in this world. I don't know how to classify it. All the hospitals, all the labs, the popular labs that you know, were overbooked for MRI for that day. We eventually found one, and luckily it was the cheapest we found. I did an MRI. I remember going into the MRI machine, and all I could see was just my sister-in-law's face. You know, it felt like I was put in a coffin. I kept banging it, like I need to go out, I need to go out. Like they had to put me in and bring me out up to 3 times. The guy begged me, he asked, "Oh, can I touch you, madam?" He touched me and he was rubbing my knee. "You'll be okay, you'll be fine. You need to lay still. I know you are in pain." So before then, they are giving me an analgesic injection, because I told them I was in pain and all of that, which helped. But I was hallucinating. It felt like I was seeing ghosts. It felt like when they put me there, they were pouring sand on me. Like I would never forget. It felt like a reminder of what the last day is going to look like. So eventually, he was rubbing my leg, you know, just keeping me calm. And somehow, I don't even know whether I dozed off or I don't know. They did what they needed to do. So the guy said that he wasn't the one that was going to translate it, but he thinks that I needed to see my doctor immediately. This was already like maybe to 7, because maybe 15 minutes after I finished was when my husband picked me up. He had to go to work. He didn't go to work the previous days because obviously we went to bury our sister-in-law and all of that. So he came to pick me up, and at that time the injection was wearing off. I was feeling so much headache. This is night. It meant that there were a lot of cars horning through lights in my face. I was using dark shade, but it wasn't helping. When they horn, when anybody press horn, when the car enter gallop, my head would do pow. Like this was how I was holding my head. Oh God, please let me see. It's me. I'm scared, but I'm holding on for my kids. This headache, it's crazy. I'm hoping I pull through. Come sit down so when they can tell me what is wrong and find a solution. Until then, yeah, no, please take the wheel and that of my kids. A neurologist, it took a long time. Shout out to Reliance HMO. At that time, I couldn't find any neurologist that was going to take me within the time frame my specialist recommended we found a neurologist at Isalo Hospital on a Saturday morning, and because of the severity of how I was feeling, they allowed me to see her on time, and she reviewed the MRI and she said that it was chemical imbalance. How it occurred, she doesn't know, because she doesn't know my history and she didn't even really want to dwell on it. But eventually, after a while, when I started visiting her, so I was doing weekly visits, by monthly visit, until I eventually stopped. So this chemical imbalance was what was messing with my brain, and then it started to affect my eyes. And she said that my doctor was right, that if we had not come, my right eye would probably have gone blind, because there was no more supply of information to my right eye. So she gave me medication was supposed to put me to sleep, and I was supposed to be sleeping. Like, all I needed to be doing was sleeping. And she said that even if I felt like my bladder was full and I cannot stand up, I should know where I am, that I'm supposed to sleep and sleep and sleep. The only reason she's not sedating me is because of my low blood level, and also because they want to try that first. So I was on this medication for 6 weeks. I was a mess. I'll be attaching pictures of what I looked like then. I had to cut my hair. I remember one midnight I was shouting, I was pulling my husband's shirt, and we went to the hospital. That was before that Saturday. I think it was a Friday. On a Friday before that Saturday, when I saw the neurologist, they had to put IV. Like, I couldn't even, they were jabbing me. They put like 2 IV. One, they were putting the injection, the other one, they were just jabbing me anyhow. The doctor was feeling so sorry for me. I remember seeing the doctor like 2 or 3 months after, and he recognized me and he was like, "Ah, madam, I'm so happy for you." Like, he was so scared, obviously, because the GP, and anyways, I shall survived it too. So the woman was like, "Oh, I hope you're not trying to get pregnant." And I'm like, "No, we're not trying to get pregnant." She said, okay, because medications are so strong that it will mess up with my ovulation. It can also mess up with implantation. It can cause miscarriage and all those things. So in my mind, I was just like, as long as I don't have headache again, as long as I don't go blind. And shout out to a couple of my friends, my followers, who noticed that I was posting, but I wasn't as active. I wasn't the one posting. Sometimes my sister will help me post, sometimes my husband will help me post, sometimes I will post just so that people don't notice that I wasn't there. And also because I was scared, like, we just lost somebody in the family. There's just that fear that I know a couple of people also that died around that time. So I was scared, like, what's going on? Oh God, Allah, don't take my life right now. I'm not ready. I've not done any work. Yeah, Allah, please don't take my life. So some came to my house. I couldn't even see them. Nana came, Lush. I didn't see her. She brought me lots of food. And thank God the day she actually brought the small chops was one of the first days I could actually eat anything. I was just drinking tea. My mother made a lot of agbo concoction. So many things. I forgot to mention. Actually went for kilongpe. This thing they used to put needle in your body. Oh my God, I can't remember. I can't remember the name. I don't know it was that expensive. Anyway, acupuncture. I even went for acupuncture to help. I will not lie. Acupuncture did not help me at all. I did not even feel anything. It didn't make me feel anything, I won't lie. But maybe because I didn't continue, but I couldn't afford to continue. It was quite expensive. Each session was expensive. I got medication from the acupuncturist. I got hospital medication. I got agbo concussion. I got some other concussion that I don't know where my mother got it from. on my medication. By my 6th week appointment, my doctor now changed my appointment to 1 month appointment. It felt like victory, because it meant that if she wasn't going to see me for 4 weeks, it meant that I could handle myself. And also at that time, she reduced my medication and told me that I could fast. So I begged God though that this Ramadan, I want to repent. I want to be able to fast all the fast. So when I was able to do almost all the fasts, it felt like Allah answered my prayer. I did not know that something has entered. So obviously, I mentioned earlier that my body and me were in sync. I know when something is wrong. So I started feeling this tenderness in my boobs, you know, and I started having painful sex. Well, it was Ramadan, but at least we know the time frame to, you know, do the do. It was quite painful, and I was just like, what's all this one? So, you know, because I had been ill with migraine and the whole issue that I had, my husband could not even come and tell me that, madam, come and do. So in my head, I was just like, oh, maybe because it's been a while or something. So it was quite painful the 2 times, and I was just like, anyways, when next I go, I'll complain, or let me know what is going on. But the tenderness in my breast, I also felt like, oh, maybe my period was coming and all of that. While I was on that medication for those 6 weeks, I saw my period twice. In fact, the second one was claimed to be like an expulsion of an ectopic pregnancy, because it was quite bad and it went on for about 2 weeks or so. And in my head, I was just like, okay, maybe the drugs, but the drugs already, they told us that it could lead to miscarriage, and also that, but if it was ectopic, because I had to do like a transvaginal scan, and there were tissues, they found tissue and everything, and the doctor gave me medication that it would expel, and that was when all the clots and everything came out. So 1 month after, I wasn't sure if it was my period, because I knew that my cycle must have changed. So I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. So on my 4th week appointment to see the neurologist, so mind you, I had not seen my period. In the morning when I was going to the hospital, I said I was going to do a test, but because I couldn't get the test kidney, and I didn't want to tell my husband, we did not plan to get pregnant. We have agreed. It took him a long time to even come to terms with me that we wanted more children. So we had agreed that next year, this year, let's use it to settle. No more debts, no more kidney. Let's even use it to settle down. He also just moved to a new industry. Let him use it to settle down. I also am on an investment rounds. Let me use it to focus on raising money for my business and understanding in the investment space and all of that. So I couldn't tell him. This was a Sunday, and there was just no way. We were going to the hospital together. He even also said he wanted to take the kids, and he also wanted to take me out, you know, just a way to celebrate how I've recovered. I was happy now. So there was no way to get the test this thing. After registering to see the neurologist, and they went to sit down somewhere else, and I was sitting there in the section where the patients for neurologists were sitting. I just quickly went to the reception that, please, I would like to do a pregnancy test. How much is it? Blah blah blah. They sent me to the lab. I did the test. So when my results came out, they now announced my name. My husband now came with the kids that maybe it was time to see the neurologist. If you see the way I chased them back, I'm sure if it was vigilant, it would have suspected that something was going on. And so I went to the lab. Right there, they opened it. Pop. I didn't know whether to cry. I didn't know, but basically, the reason I did the test was so that I could tell the neurologist that this is what is going on. Are we stopping the medication? Are we reducing the medication? And what can we do? That was how I found out, or I confirmed that I was pregnant. I didn't know for how long. I didn't know anything. And my journey began.